Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how to quickly create the iOS mobile application. So for this example, we're going to be using shop hair queen. So let's go ahead and unzip this file. And then we can see it here. So we'll open into it. And first thing you want to do is go ahead and open up the Xcode project file, so that way Xcode can see this file. Let's go ahead and open it. We can see that it's ready. Wait till it finishes indexing. We can see here it's still indexing. So once it finishes indexing, we'll actually quit out of Xcode. Alright, so the indexing has completed, so let's go ahead and quit out of Xcode. Now we'll go ahead and open up the X workspace. Open. You can see here that it's ready, but you may have this error here. What you'll need to do is first just simply left click on it, and you'll want to change the location. So go ahead, left click again on the folder, and we'll want to come in here to the desktop and the file that we just extracted, and we'll also want to select the Xcode project file, which is referenced here. So we'll go ahead and choose that one, and now we can see it has been placed here, this information, but the additional files don't show. So what we'll need to do is again quit out of Xcode, and now once we've quitted out of Xcode, open up the workspace, and now we have all the files and the pods included on this template. So first things first, let's go ahead and change a few things as far as naming, so that way we know what project we are working with. This one is Shop Hair Queen, so we'll go ahead and change the name right here, Shop Hair Queen, and we'll do something like app.shophairqueen.lm360. This is the first version. This is build number 1. If we were going to update an app or resubmit an app, we could always do version 1.01 and build 2, and that's pretty much simply all that you would need to do. And click on product and then archive. But we're not just there right now. We'll go back to that in a second. But for now, these are the first couple steps. So display name, build identifier, version, build. So this is 0 and 1. Signing and release, debug and release, we'll get to this in a second. This isn't too important right now. So again, renaming, we're going to change the identity and name. Instead of this, we're going to put in Shop Hair Queen. Press enter, and you'll see this pop-up come up to rename project. We'll click on rename and continue, and OK. So we could see that there was an issue here, so it's still coming up. It hasn't been renamed. What you want to do is go to Manage Schemes. You'll get a window that's similar to this. You'll want to click on that one and actually delete it, and then really simply and easily click on the plus button, and you'll be adding Shop Hair Queen now, and click on OK, close, and now we see Shop Hair Queen there and with the iOS. So again, we also see OD apps here. That's not too big of a deal. If we simply just quit Xcode, reopen this workspace, go to Shop Hair Queen, and we can see Shop Hair Queen has been renamed right there. So the next steps that we're going to be doing is creating the app icon and the splash for this application. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, and I'm going to switch over to Photoshop and show you how to do that. Alright, so creating the app icon, we will go ahead and open up Photoshop, and we'll let Photoshop open up right now. Photoshop is open. We'll go ahead and do your app icon PSD. Alright, so we have this template here for the app icon loaded up. We're going to go ahead and save the image here that I already had pulled up from shophairqueen.com. So we'll just right click it and save image. Go ahead and save, and then just left click, drag and drop, and from here you can do shift and alt plus clicking and dragging at the same time, so that way you resize this to fit the square a little bit better, and then go ahead and click on enter, and we can see the icon there. We can zoom out a little bit, and there it is. Obviously if you have a higher quality image, it won't be as blurry when you get closer in or whatnot. If the client has submitted one, that would always be better to use that one that they have submitted. But for now, we will just go ahead and export and save for web. You know, if you wanted to change the background color, say you want it to be black, you could just double click in this area, and then you could choose your color here. But I think the white looks good because they're already using the white on gold, so we'll keep it that way. So File, Export, Save for Web. You could always do Control Shift Alt S, so that way you can save it. Here it is. PNG is what you're going to save it as. Go ahead and save. Any name right now doesn't really matter, so for this example we'll just put in Hair Queen or HQ. I'm going to save it to the desktop for easy access and click on save. And now I'm going to pull up the splash. So we'll go in here for the splash, and this here is going to be for the iOS. Typically, you know, it will just be the logo that you'll be placing maybe here or somewhere near the top, for example. And you know, you could always, you know, possibly take one of these images in the background too. Just simply save it, click and drag it, and also to placing that in the background, so you could add a different kind of feel for these apps. If you wanted to add, you know, the similar overlay that we had before, you could just double click it, do a gradient overlay or just a regular color overlay. You know, if we're doing a color overlay, we can change, you know, what we're looking for. Maybe we want it a little bit wider, and we do something like I don't know, something like that, for example. Maybe they'll like that for their application there. So let's go ahead and go to File, Export, Save for Web, and there, like I said, you know, you're going to want a higher quality image for these logos, so they're more appealing, but again, this is what we have to work with from the website. So simply, again, making sure that it's PNG-24, and once this is done, go ahead and click on Save. And again, the name's not too important, so we'll just do HQ splash and enter, save it. May take some time, and there it is done. So we'll go ahead and close out of Photoshop because we're done with Photoshop for now, and we'll move on to step number 2, which is placing these files we just created within the mobile application. So close out of that. I'm using a PC to Mac combination with virtualware, so I have this system here where I can drag and drop files back and forth. If you're using a Mac directly, you probably just open up and have these files already accessible on your Mac. But for me, I gotta put them into the Mac side. So you probably don't even have to do this if you're working on a Mac. So let's continue on here, and we'll go back to the Mac. Um, I'll close this for now, just so that way we know where we're at. Now I'm going to pull up those files that we just created. Again, like I said, I have this with sync, so we have the HQ Splash and HQ that we just created. I'm going to drag those to the desktop, and now I'm going to open up this file here, Super View, that we have extracted, we've been working on, and we've already been renaming Shop Hair Queen in this file. You're going to access here where it says Super View. Go to image.access, and then you're going to have some files in here. The ones that we're going to want to change are the app icon, and we're also going to want to change the splash. So for now, with the splash, we can just simply drag and drop this one in here and delete this, so move it to trash, and just rename this to splash. But for the actual icon, we'll have to do one more step, which is going to app icon, I think it's build or something. Let's see. Right here, so app icon.build. This is the website that I utilize for these icons. Simply click and drop image there. Confirm upload, and you'll want to enter in your email address, so I'll enter in mine. Submit it, and the files have been now sent to the email address that you entered in there. So what I will do is I will go ahead and pull up those files now from my email and then drop them in here, and we'll continue. So the files may go to your spam folder. I'm not sure why it actually went to the spam folder. I've never had this happen before, but you can always report it as not spam so that doesn't happen in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and download these files right now. So let's go ahead and unzip these files here, and we have the app icon, and it will give you both Android and iOS, but the only one that we need to focus on is iOS. So let's click on iOS. It will provide you a file called appicon.applications. So again, let's open up SuperView, and then from here we're going to do this folder, SuperView, image accepts, and then we can see the files already here. So all we have to do is just copy or click and drag and replace. So there we have replaced those app icons. So we can close out of those and delete some stuff that we don't really need anymore. It's unnecessary. And we can clean it up, whatever. So let's go ahead and open up that application that we were working with. If you haven't quit Xcode yet, go ahead and quit Xcode and open up the workspace. So here we can see the updated app icon that has been added there, and to see the actual splash screen, you'll want to click this drop down here for Super View, and then come down here to where it says main storyboard, and you could also look at the launch screen storyboard, but we're just going to take a look really fast here at the main one, and we can see where it starts and comes in. We're going to be working a little bit in the main storyboard as we continue on with this tutorial, but for now I just want to show you guys how this all works. So here we can see it coming in, and the splash screen is going to be displayed here because it's also going for the loading screen for each of these different view controllers is what they're called. So these are all different view controllers, and this is a lower tab menu there. So there's different templates for the 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 page or tab version lower menus, and we'll get into how to change the text how to change the colors and everything of that nature. But we can see the splash screen has been done, the app icon has been done, we renamed the application, we renamed the identifier, set the folder appropriately to where we're working at, changed the version, the build number, understood how these targets and schemes work. So next, we're going to actually be entering in the different pages and URLs that will be used for the mobile application off of this website.
Alright, so now we're going to work on changing the different URLs for this mobile application. Now if you're working on this app, if you click in here, typically like if you don't click this drop down, you may not see everything that is necessary for this app. I wouldn't pay too much attention to this info.plst file. Not too much happens in this one. Primarily the plst file that you're going to be utilizing is this one. I wouldn't change anything inside that file, just FYI. But this one here we're going to be working in, so just make sure that it is that one directly below this, or you could just see it's superview.plst. So the first URL that we're going to be utilizing is going to be the URL for the website itself. So we'll go ahead and copy this URL and then come back into Xcode, double click and paste it in, just doing a command paste or command V. And then URL 2 we can see is going to be for collections all, and collections all is for Shopify websites. You know, this one may be Shopify. Let's see. So yeah, we actually can tell that this is a Shopify site because it is, you know, pulling up from this domain here. So we could actually easily do these links pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and Control C, and then we'll go back into Xcode. This is Control V, so that's for the shop, and then we have the cart. So we can just do Control V and then actually just put in cart, and then same thing with this one. We could simply paste and then put in account. Perfect. And then we have other options here, for example, one signal app ID, and then also pull to refresh, use GPS. So this is actually supposed to be set to no, and there was some issues with applications with this set yes. So make sure that that's set no for whatever reason. If it is set to yes within your template, go ahead and put that for no. And same thing for pull to refresh. Maybe if someone doesn't want pull to refresh, you could easily put in here no, or if you want pull to refresh, you could put in yes. Completely up to you. But so those were for the links. Now say for example you wanted to change the name of a tab. What you would do is you would come back in here to the main storyboard where we're at just previously, and you would simply just click on it one time and you'd see it highlight up like this, and you would get some information over here on the right hand side. If you want, you can go ahead and click on the title here like I have and highlight it, and you can change it to something like custom tab, for example. I just press tab to go to the next area here. You can press enter or just click out of it. We can see already it's changing to custom tab right there. And likewise, if we wanted to change the image, so this image here is for home, but say I wanted to use another image, like I wanted this one to be the shop image, I could change this to shop, or I could even add a new image within this images.xsets folder, where we can see these different images here and their sizes. So if I wanted to figure out exactly what size this image is here, what we can do is go within SuperView, Images, and then this one is, for example, say shop. If I wanted to customize this image, so I can see this image is an icon size of 32 by 32. So if I wanted to create another 32 by 32 image, custom of this, like I downloaded from the icon website that I've shared, you can actually pull up in Photoshop and create a new 32 by 32 image and just drag and drop it in there, save it as PNG, and then you'll be able to just go ahead and click on add new image set, and then here you can click it and then click it again, so almost a double click but not necessarily a double click, just two long clicks, and then type something in here. So what I'll put in here, I'll just put in here custom tab, and now this is a custom tab. And if I had an image, I don't necessarily have an image, but I would drop it in here to the 1x 32 by 32, and if I wanted to do a 2x, that would be 64 by 64, and then 3x would be 32 by 32 times 3, whatever that math comes out to. I think it's 96 by 96 size icon. You would drop it there for different resolution images and having more HD icons, for example, too. If you wanted to do the home, you could have those different image sizes there too for more retina feel. But continuing with the main storyboard, you see there I made that one custom tab. So if we come back here to main storyboard, and we can see this image here showing up, but there's actually nothing there. It just says, let's see, I don't even see it. Yeah, so I don't actually see it popping up. It's probably more than likely because I haven't actually added an image to that. So we're just going to keep it to home. But like I said, if you add an image, it will populate, no problem. Again, we'll rename this one back to home. So for this demonstration, we didn't necessarily have to change any of these account tabs or lower menu informations at all. So let's continue on here with editing. So the next thing we're going to do is getting these signing certificates, the provisioning files, and also we're going to be grabbing the OneSignal ID. So give me 1 second and we'll be right back. Alright, so now we're going to get into the signing and debug and provisioning files, as well as creating the build identifier within the Apple developer place. So let's go ahead and copy this just for our reference, and I've already logged into the developer account, so this is where you'll be at right when you log in. Go ahead and click on certificates, identifiers, and profiles, and we'll go ahead and select on app IDs. Here we'll go ahead and click on the plus button, and we'll go ahead and enter in the name here of this business, which is shophairqueen.com. So Shop Hair Queen, and the team is good. We're going to do an explicit ID. We'll go ahead and paste that in. So we have app.shophairqueen.lm360, and we're going to enable some application or app services. We're going to enable here where it says associated domains. We're also going to enable data protection and push notifications. Click on continue, and we'll click on register, and done. So that has created our app ID. We're also going to now go to OneSignal and connect our app ID to the application that we're going to create. So to do this, we'll go and type in OneSignal and simply click on login. And so we'll go ahead and log in. So we can sign in using Google. Sharing at Leverage Mobile 360. Go ahead and click on next. And we can see the different applications that are here. So what we can do is click on add app, because we're going to be adding a new app, because it is currently not one of the apps that we have already listed. This is a brand new one, so we'll go ahead and do add app, and this is again Shop Hair Queen, and we'll go ahead and click on add app, and this is going to be for an Apple iOS app. Click on next, and it's going to ask us to choose our certificate, the P12 file. So this is going to be getting created from OneSignal. So again, we'll be going to onesignal.com / it's provisioner. Okay, so it's going to be onesignal.com / provisionator. And we'll go ahead and click on get started. Now it's going to ask us for our Apple ID. Now we can go ahead and use this one, which is Shane at leveragemobile360.com. And then also for the password, we're going to be utilizing the password here, which is the same one for the Apple account here. So we'll go ahead and put in this password. Click on next, and we'll want to select our team. So for this example, we're going on the new Cyber Solutions LLC team. These other teams are for published applications that are created these certificates and push notification certificates within their own app, so in their account as well. But for this one, this application, this demo app, is going to be on the new Cyber Solutions team. So we'll go ahead and select this team. Next, and it'll select our app ID, which is the same app ID that we created here, and we can see it right here. Shop Hair Queen. So app.shophairqueen.lm360. Come back in here and select that same app. So we see that here, Shop Hair Queen. So we'll select it and click on Generate. So after we select Generate, we'll see our password file here. So we click on Download, and we could even copy our password here as well. So coming back into OneSignal, we're going ahead and choose the file that we've just downloaded, which is this iOS push certificate. So we'll drag it in there. You can see upload has been completed, and we also have a private key passphrase, so we'll paste it in there, and that's the one that was provided here. Simply click on save, and it's going to say select SDK, which is native iOS, and this here gives us our app ID. So we'll go ahead and highlight and copy this, and it's going to ask us to check for subscribers, so we'll do that momentarily. Coming back in here to Xcode, so pulling up the Xcode project, we're going to come into superview.plist, and right here where it says OneSignal app ID, we're going to simply double click it and highlight it and paste in our new provided app ID signal. So right there it has been supplied, so we'll go ahead and put that in there, and we'll go ahead and come back in here to the primary Shop Hair Queen file, and we're going to now focus on these two provisioning files. So coming back in here to the Apple developer side, through certificates, and we can easily just select on all, and this is where we're going to want to be adding a new one, and this will be a production certificate. So we'll do App Store, click on continue. It's going to tell us to create a CSR file, so we'll go ahead and minimize this. And I created one here, so I'm going to move that to the trash really fast. And you're going to want to open up keychain, so we'll go to search, keychain, go ahead and click on enter, and make sure you're selecting on the appropriate one, and you can go ahead and click on unlock, and there we have unlocked it. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and delete the ones I have here. I'm going to just delete the distribution ones because I already have the developer ones there, so I'll leave those just for now. It's pretty easy to create the developer one. You have to have the phone, so Next step for creating your certificate, go to Keychain Access up here at the top, go to Assistant, and request a certificate from our certificate authority. Go ahead and enter in the email, Shane at Leverage Mobile 360. You can leave the name, save to disk, and go ahead and click on Continue, save, and there your certificate has been created. Click on Done. Just make sure it's the bold one. It probably says like something like login or similar to that on your computer. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and close this. Come back in here to signing certificate, click on Continue, choose File. We're going to go ahead and select the one we've created, click on Continue, and make sure you download this. And when you download it, go ahead and click on it, and it will pop it open right here as the distribution certificate that was just created right now. So again, we can go ahead and close this, done. And now what you want to do is, since we have a provisioning file here, and I was actually having some issues, so what I will do to keep the example going forward is first I will come in here and I'll go ahead and I'll delete this one. You could always edit it, but I want to show you how to do it from the beginning. So click on the plus, App Store, continue. We'll go ahead and select our application here, which is Shop Hair Queen. Continue. We'll select our newly created certificate. Make sure you reference the dates. If you just created one, there'll probably be two here. So you want to create, or you want to select the one that's the newest, so that way it's for your computer. And select on continue. Give it a name. So Shop Hair Queen, and continue. We can go ahead and download this and click on done. Minimize, and let's go back in here to Xcode. So we're going to import the file. We'll go ahead and select on the one that we just downloaded, and same thing, we'll import the file here and go ahead and import that. And if it's having any issues, what you can always do is just click on automatically manage signing. See how, even though I did everything correct, it seemed to have some sort of issue with iPhone developer account. So you can go ahead and enable automatic and select the account. So for this example, New Cyber Solutions LLC, we can see here signing certificate, no problem, good to go. So that finishes the signing certificate. We have covered the URLs. We covered the splash and icons. So now, I mean, that pretty much summarizes it for this demo application. With capabilities, you guys want to be sure to, if you come in here, make sure push notifications is enabled, make sure in-app purchase is enabled. We have here background modes. So location updates, you can go ahead and remove that. So the only one here that's going to be enabled is remote notifications, associated domains. So you're going to want to add different domains that you can log in with the website. So for example, if you could log in with Facebook or anything of that nature, you may want to put that as an associated domain for this website. But for right now, I'm just going to add this domain here as an associated domain. Oops, copy that as an associated domain. That way, if anyone is using the app on their iPhone and have saved a password and username for this website, that username and password that's saved on their phone will also be enabled to just quickly input it here. So we add a new one by clicking plus, web credentials, and then we're going to just replace example.com with shophairqueen.com. Again, click enter, and that one added there. Make sure data protection is enabled, and that pretty much is for capabilities. The rest of these you don't really have to worry about too much at all. You don't have to worry about them at all. So general and capabilities is completed. These ones are all done. We have done that. So now if we go into these view controllers, so the way it's set up is view controller without any 1, 2, or 3. This is the very first one. This is the home view controller. This is the shop view controller. This is the cart view controller, and the account view controller. So if we want to customize things, stuff as like the CSS or the user agent, for example, right here, this is exactly where we're going to do that within these different files. So whichever one, we'll have to customize it for all of them. So in this example, our user agent is going to actually be LM360 iOS app. And we have to make sure that we replace this on all view controllers that we want the same information to be displayed on. So I want this user agent to be displayed on all of them. And this is referenced within the Smart Banner and also Google Analytics. So this is where this is pulling that from in Google Analytics. It references each of these different tabs here. You know, if you wanted to get super custom in it, you could actually make this one LM360 iOS Shop, LM360 iOS Cart, so on and so forth, to where it's super reportive as far as which tab each user is on. But I mean, that gets kind of complex because then you also need to reference these different user agents within the Smart Banner. So to keep the complexity down, we just have used one for an iOS app and Android, but you could get deeper into these reportings in the future. Okay, cool. So that showed how to change the reporting name on the iOS app or the user agent as referenced, and also the Smart Banner. If we want to change the CSS, to quickly do that, I'm just going to do Control F, so that way I can search for something. So I'll type in CSS. So we could see here the function insert CSS string into web view. So let's go ahead and go over what this is and how exactly this works, because there's some things in here that if we want to take out, how exactly do we take these things out? So for example here, there's some things like this WebKit user select none. These you want to keep in there, but when it comes to, for example, footer, you can go ahead and actually just copy this like that and delete it if you didn't want it to be there. If you didn't want to have that CSS there for that item. And same thing here. So this one's is an alternative payment. So for PayPal, we had removed the PayPal option on the Protalis app. If we no longer needed that to be removed, we could actually remove the CSS hiding it. So there we go. For that CSS, we can insert more CSS just like normal. Make sure it's all on one line. You don't want like a bunch of lines of CSS. Just make it inline, or what's it called? The minimum version. So the min CSS. So CSS that's already been minimized. So it's not a bunch of lines. It's all one line. And again, like I said, you want to do this, so whatever you do on one view controller, if you want it to be consistent on all pages of the website or different view controllers, you need to do the same thing. So as in here, I'm actually adding the CSS functions on all the view controllers, so that way it is referenced across the board and not just on the home view controller. So we can see also here again on the view did finish, and then lastly this view controller here. Boom. There we go. We can verify that they're all at the same place. Perfect. So we have the CSS now inserted there on each of those templates. And that pretty much is all that we need to do for the customization. Now there's some additional things we could do within the app for customizing it that has been included, but for the most part this is all that you really need to do. I wouldn't change too much of it. It's pretty preset there for these different templates. So I mean, the CSS here is the main thing. If you want to customize the internal view of the actual app, that's important. And then also, you know, I mean, um, this right here, the user agent is very important as well. Um, so now that we have finished those key things, we have pretty much completed this mobile application. If we want to test the way it looks, we can go ahead and click on this play button. So let's go ahead and verify everything is appropriate, and we can even now come back in here to the dashboard for OneSignal and check the subscribed users. So that's good news right there. We got a successful build for Shop Hair Queen. We can come into Xcode and see what's going on. Let's go ahead and launching it. My computer's slightly slower. I'll go ahead and quit out of keychain access as well.
Okay, so we can see the app here is loading up. Like I said, it's a little bit slower, but it will do the trick.
Alright, so here we can see the application loading up here. The splash screen that we have designed. Initially we had saw the icon over here as well before it popped open. And again, normally this is not as long as it takes to load, but like I said, computer's a little bit slower today. Not just today. So we can see here Shop Hair Queen would like to send you push notifications. We'll go ahead and accept that and allow. And now we can see the icon here loading and connecting to their site. And depending upon how it works as far as in-app. So we can see here there's some issues with CSS. So we would need to potentially fix that. We could do it for them. I'll show you guys how to do that too. But yeah, when we see this, how this is working, we got the rewards program in there too. If we go to shop, and we have the shop here, and I think this is automatically connecting or clicking on their search menu or something like that right here to pop up this. I'm not quite entirely sure why, but that is having some issues as far as the way this website is functioning. But yeah, I mean, this thing's looking good. Everything works well. Let's see the cart. So yeah, you see this happening again here. Zoom out really fast. Okay, so cool. So yeah, I mean, we could disable this footer if we wanted to. I think for this example, we're just going to leave it in there. The rewards program seems to be coming in nicely. And we have all these different tabs open too, which is cool. Alright, so there's the account. Let's see if we can fix this zoom in problem that's going on here. What we can do is we go ahead and check subscribed users. Now don't be alarmed because it says your user failed to be subscribed. The iOS simulator does not support push notifications. Not a problem, but knowing that it got the simulator means that it works. So we can go ahead and close it and leave setup. It's going to go ahead and save it for us. We got 1 total subscriber, so it is working. Shop Hair Queen has been connected. Perfect. So let's go ahead and search for something really fast to fix this. So fix mobile zoom on text. How to disable zoom. So here's an example. Okay. So let's try this. What we'll do is we'll copy it, and a simple thing to do is just to paste it here. Um, so these are different CSS classes, right? For select, text area, and input. This is going to make it for the font size. Actually here I didn't select enough of it. I need to select all of this here. Copy that, and then we'll paste it in here. So this CSS section is going to start off like that, where it's select, text, we have input, and this here is where the font size needs to remain. And then we have background. Okay, so let's copy that. Let's test out to see how this works. So we'll come back in here to the app, select on the folder. Don't worry too much about these build time errors or warnings. None of them are preventing it from going through, and they all just fine. So let's come back in here to this CSS where we were editing, right here. So say we wanted to add a new CSS. Outside of these brackets, we're going to go ahead and enter another space, and we're just going to paste in the brackets here that we had created for this as well. Now, I believe we should be able to remove those brackets though. Let's just test it out. We'll go ahead and play it. Stop the current app build. Start another one. Let's see how this works. It should work fine on the home page. We shouldn't have that initial zoom, but let's go ahead and make sure. So we're still getting the zoom. Maybe we need to add those brackets as they were. Let's try that again. Put these brackets like that. Boom. Okay, let's try that. Pretty sure that was right. Yeah. So it's loading up. Let's give it a go. So it still doesn't seem to be working. This might be something to do within their actual site, but you know, they may need to set the meta to initial scale being 1, but it should also be done in CSS. I just don't want to spend too much time getting the demo taken care of, but on a live version or on a final review or final application production, definitely 100% that initial zoom would have to be taken care of, which really isn't that hard to do, but I think within a demo explaining it wouldn't be too difficult. So yeah, we can check it out one more time. Alright, there it is. So now what we want to do next, once we have this app here, you know, we go to the home, we can see the nice icon we have created. Double click the home button, we see Shop Hair Queen. So all the branding there is done appropriately. We can quit the simulator, and the next step to be done is to actually upload this to iTunes Connect. So what we'll want to do is select generic iOS device, and this is important, and we'll want to log into our iTunes Connect account. Not sure why this isn't working here. There we go. So we'll go ahead and log into our iTunes Connect account. And what we want to do really fast is we actually want to, it's important that you select the appropriate team. So for this example, we're using New Cyber Solutions, My Apps, and what we're going to do is add a new app. So click on new app, and this is going to be for an iOS. We'll name this one Shop Hair Queen. The language is going to be for English US. The bundle ID is this one here, Shop Hair Queen. And the SKU we could use is just, for example, Shop Hair Queen. Go ahead and click on create. And there it has been created. So we can go ahead and minimize this and come back into Xcode. Okay, so before we actually upload the application to iTunes Connect, there is one more thing that we can do. Typically I don't like to do this for demos, but I like to save this for the live version. However, it's important not to forget about this step. So what you want to do is actually go to Google Firebase, and this one is to connect it to Google Firebase, so that way you can have a analytical reporting of errors and other things as far as location and so on and so forth regarding these apps. So what you want to do is, once you come to Firebase, you'll want to select on Leverage Mobile 360, and then within Leverage Mobile 360 you'll want to go ahead and add an app. So you'll click on Add App and you'll select iOS. For this is going to be an iOS app, and the bundle is the same one that we have created, so it's going to be app.shop hair queen.lm360. Give it a nickname, so this is the iOS version of Shop Hair Queen. And we don't have to add the App Store ID just yet, but we can always add this later. So let's go ahead and register the app. Next thing we want to do is download the Google Services config file. Keep note of where it should go, right here from my application. I'll show you guys where this should go. So first things is to download it. So we have downloaded our Google Services-info.plst file. Go ahead and click on next. This isn't important because it has already been done for you on these templates. Same thing with this. It's been installed, and this is going to check to see if the app is communicating with their servers. Give us 1 second and we're going to do that. So within the application here, what you're going to want to do is this super view file. So from the very top we have Shop Hair Queen. We're going to click on the drop down. We have super view. Click on the drop down, and within this folder super view we're going to want to put the Google Info PLST probably somewhere down here. It doesn't have to be down there, you know, it can be anywhere within here. You don't want to put it in some other folder like this or that, but you want to put it within this folder here. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put it right there. And right here it says destination. Go ahead and select copy items if needed and create folder references. We don't want to create groups, we just want to create folder references, add to targets, and finish. So boom, so our Google Info Services has been there. So this is all the information that we need regarding our Firebase connection. So if we want to test it out, we can go ahead and open up iPhone, I think I was using the 8 Plus. Let's go ahead and run this again. And that way we can actually verify it within our iOS app. So we can see here the build has succeeded, and we have it loading up here. So let's just give it a second and we'll see it communicating with Google Services. Alright, so we have the application loading up here again. We can go ahead and allow the notifications. I guess I was using the iPhone 8, not the 8 Plus. and done. And we can see here, congratulations, you have successfully added Firebase to your application. So we can go to console and we can get a little bit more information about it. Let's see here. There is, I think it's a stream view. So if we select stream view, we can pick our mobile application also. So for example here, we have the one project that we did have connected, and these details there. So cool. That's how you connect Firebase. And we can go ahead and close out of these and continue on with what we're doing. Again, remember, it needs to be set on generic iOS device. Now click on Product and select on Archive. It'll go ahead and do its thing. It'll be bundling and compiling the different sources and files that we have. So let's go ahead and wait. Okay, we can see here build has been succeeded. And for Shop Hair Queen, we can go ahead and select on Upload to App Store. This is version 1, build 1. Now, if we have multiple versions or we want to update or resubmit, then we could see here that we are just utilizing, like I said before, where we would come into here and we would change this version to 1 and this to 2, and then we would have a new build and version that we could update. But for now, let's go ahead and continue on with what we were doing. So here we go to add Shop Hair Queen. Go ahead and select on Upload to App Store. And let's go ahead and check your iTunes account connection, make sure you're logged in, everything is correct. And we're going to head and make sure all of these are selected and go on Next. Automatically manage signing. Next. It's communicating with Apple. And it should start to upload very shortly. We'll go ahead and enter in our password again. Go ahead and maybe just say always allow to make it easier. Alright, and now this is the final step. You can go ahead and verify everything if you'd like. Make sure everything is appropriate, and we have all the things here that we need, and the profile app name is appropriate and correct. We can go ahead and select on Upload. Now the uploading process may take a few minutes to 30 minutes depending upon your connection speed to the internet and the processing power, I think, on your computer. But I'm just going to go ahead and let this run, see how long it takes, and then we'll go on to the last and final step, which is making sure that the app icon is within iTunes Connect, and then that's it. Okay, so the upload was successful. We can monitor the status of your app on iTunes Connect. Pretty much it will take about, I want to say, 20 minutes to complete processing, and after it's done processing, you'll be able to download it on your actual phone or send it off anywhere. Now, just to explain updating really fast or whatnot, again, so say if I wanted to do an update, I would put this as version 0.01 and my build would be version 2. Again, generic iOS device, product, archive, and then here I'll show you guys how that would look. So we can see your build succeeded again. And now we have two different ones. So this was the first one we uploaded, and now this is the updated version. This is the new updated app. We could upload it to the App Store, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I'm going to wait for the first one to process. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and close this and close out of the Xcode. You know, it is important that you do save the projects that you're working in. So that was Protalis. So let's open up this one. So we can see here that it's saved. So I'll just revert it back to where we had it in case I need to submit an actual update. And we can go ahead and save it. But I mean, it does pretty much automatically save if you have noticed. So I'll go and close out of that. And now if we come back in here to iTunes Connect, we can go to activity for the application that we are working on, depending upon which one that is. We go to activity. We can see currently that it is processing. In about 20 minutes or so, we'll get an email notifying us that it has completed processing. And then the last step that we will need to do is set it up for submission, or just to have a better presentation. So we see this app icon here, and that will be done. I mean, we could either upload it from the files that we have downloaded, or what we could do is once we have the build processed, we will have an option here where right now we don't have the option, but once it's finished processing, we'll have the option to select the build that we have uploaded for this version 1.0, and automatically the app icon will be displayed based on the app assets that are actually included in the build itself. So let's go ahead and wait for that, and then I'll show you exactly how that works. So I wanted to show you exactly what I was talking about. Once this build has finished processing, we can see it's no longer processing anymore and it has completed. If we click on it, we can see some more information regarding the build. But more importantly, what we want to do is click on the App Store for Shop Hair Queen. And we come back in here to prepare for submission. And within prepare for submission, we're not going to add the screenshots just yet, but we're going to want to select a build before we submit our app. So we select this build here. We can see the icon being displayed. Click on done and save, seeing the app icon here. And now when we go to my apps, we shall see the app icon showing up there. And also when we click into the app, we'll see it right up there too. So that pretty much is it when it comes to the development of the iOS mobile applications. Hopefully I covered everything that was necessary. This mobile app is ready to go for test flight and is ready to be submitted for external testers and for that initial review. Alright, let me know if you need anything or have any questions. Bye-bye.